Good evening, everybody, and welcome tonight. Day number 223. 223. Can't even believe I'm saying those numbers. I really thought it would be 7. I and Jania thought exactly the same thing, and a majority of Ukrainians thought the same thing. Thank you for being here tonight. As always, I do want to give a big hello there when my man's checking in from Manila, Philippines. Hello, my friend Gandhi. So welcome to all of you. Thank you for being here. We're going to jump in. I want to thank you specifically, Jeffrey Burnett, as always, for being faithful and taking care of the chat, making sure it's all clean and uplifting so that I don't have to focus on it over there. It's a huge help. One thing I want to update you guys on tonight before we get going, we are really developing a way that we may explore supporting Ukraine in a more streamlined manner. So I've got an adjustment to my website coming up. I hope by tomorrow night I can share that with you. And it's going to be a complete resource center. It'll be in conjunction, of course, with our church, with our NGOs there in Ukraine. It's cool. I'm trying to wrap it all together. Our Amazon store, our new potential supplier for tourniquets, just going to make it a one-stop shop. And I don't mean shop as a store, but you understand what I'm saying, a full resource of information. So that should be upcoming, and thank you for being here. We'll keep you posted on that. Now I want to jump right in because right now while we're speaking, 9:03 p.m. Eastern, pretty good explosions going off in the Kyiv region. I know we haven't said that in a while, but tonight we're going to say it. And unfortunately, as I showed you last night, those Iranian drones, that is what is attacking the city of Bila Tserkva. So if you look at the map right there, you see Kyiv, you see the explosion symbol in the very center of the map. Just south of Kyiv is a large city, Bila Tserkva, and I will translate that for you. Bila means white, and Tserkv or Tserkvi means church. So this city is actually White Church, Ukraine. It is a regional center. It's a large city. Tonight it was hit, and there are fires raging right this moment. They're just getting damage control going. What struck Bila Tserkva? Iranian drones. So look at the map. You guys know where the front lines are. You realize that's a pretty good little hop for those drones. It's one thing for the drones to be striking in Odessa, in Mykolaiv, close to the front lines. They do not get far off the ground. I showed you video on that last night. But to strike that deep up into Ukraine, passing multiple air defenses, that's not good. So hopefully we'll get that under control. But tonight, Bila Tserkva is under attack, as well as Kharkiv. Kharkiv is not under missile attack, but Kharkiv is being shelled from the northern side of the city, which would be on Russian sovereign territory. Down to the south, Mykolaiv is being hit, and as well Dnipro. Those are your four major places. Now, I have blue arrows there for you tonight because Ukraine is making some incredible pushes. First of all, they're making a massive push in the south. In fact, I'll go here right now and we'll give you a little closer look. You know what? Let me do this a different way. Let's go here. And I'll actually show you. So, of course, right here is Mykolaiv, and below that is Kherson. Up here, northeast of Mykolaiv, I'll back it up till about October the 2nd, and just watch. Over the last 48 hours, look at the territory clipped off here. As you can see, I will explain to you guys one thing. So this is what's happened today in Kherson, a major push. I want to explain to you the color system on this map so you completely understand it. Green would be territory that was occupied by Russia that Ukraine is in full control of. Blue would be Ukrainian pushes and assaults. And gray, see the gray right here? Gray is a zone where both Ukrainian and Russian troops are located. So that's the colors. And of course, red is Russian occupied. But you're seeing the push. Look at that. That was this morning. That's tonight. That's Mykolaiv. Over here in the east, of course, I want to show you guys something here. We're getting a big push going on towards Lysychansk. You can see the blue territory being controlled by Ukraine. When Zhenya and I were up here under Liman, which you see right here, we were in Rygorodok, which is right here, just a few miles from Liman, and we were actually on the edge of the gray zone. We were 2 miles from the gray zone, which has both Ukrainian and or Russian troops. You can see now that's gone, and Ukraine is now in control of Liman, and the gray zone is to the right. So Ukraine is making some major pushes, and it's starting to put a little bit of egg onto the face of Russia. With that said, I want to roll some UATV tonight, about a 3-minute clip translated into English, give you a good overview, and then we're going to roll into some specific things tonight that I think are very important. Here's UATV. And I'm telling you right now, before I roll this, I'm going to click through this. I'm going to work my best to move these updates to 25 to 30 minutes. I think it's better respect of your time. You're here every night, and I deeply appreciate it. And I just want to make them better, and better. So with that said, let's jump right to UATV, and then we're going to show you something tonight that's unbelievable.
On October 2nd, the Ukrainian military took complete control of Liman in the Donetsk region.
Лиман – це буде Україна.
Liman will be Ukraine.
Liman is strategically important for a further counterattack of the armed forces of Ukraine on the territory of the Luhansk region, military experts say. The deoccupation of Liman was another blow on Putin's reputation. Russian troops tried to leave the city on the very day when the Russian president triumphantly signed the so-called treaties on joining the occupied Ukrainian territories of the Donetsk, Luhansk, Kherson and Zaporizhia regions to the Russian Federation. The Ukrainian army, meanwhile, has deoccupied a number of other settlements around the Liman area.
The Kremlin's proclamation does not really correlate with the realities that are going on at the front. And in this context, it is quite obvious that after taking full control of the Liman, the Ukrainian defense forces have every opportunity to advance as part of a counter-offensive, whether towards Svatovo or to the Kreminna, Rubizhne, Lysychansk and Severodonetsk areas.
They did not risk explaining their escape from Liman as a goodwill gesture. The military leadership of the Russian Federation is criticized both on the Russian social networks and propaganda TV channels. The American Institute for the Study of War suggests that the holding of the territories of the Luhansk region occupied by the Russian army is no longer a priority for the Kremlin.
The defeat around Liman also indicates that Russian President Vladimir Putin is deprioritizing defending the Luhansk region in favor of holding occupied territories in southern Ukraine. Ukrainian and Russian sources consistently indicate that Russian forces continue to reinforce Russian positions in the Kherson and Zaporizhia regions, from the report of the Institute for the Study of War.
Military experts consider that the armed forces of Ukraine can liberate all the territories occupied by Russia already in spring, but this will require the continued support of Western partners with supplies of weapons.
Obviously, all territories of our country will be liberated. No one will tell us yet in what terms, with what forces and means and where. But it is quite obvious that by the end of the spring of next year, as the general head of the main Directorate of Intelligence of Ukraine says, the entire territory of Ukraine will be liberated from the occupiers.
The permanent representative of the President of Ukraine in Crimea, Tamila Tasheva, has asked Crimeans to prepare for different scenarios and recommended Russians to leave the territory of Ukraine before the deoccupation of the peninsula begins. Mikhailo Podolyak, advisor to the head of the office of the president, believes that two main parameters, weapons and the liberation of Donetsk and Luhansk, will determine the terms of the deoccupation of Crimea.
Donetsk and Lugansk are symbols of barbarian civilization. More criminal enclaves cannot be imagined in our time. By the way, I am the maximum supporter of the fact that we should go to Donetsk and Lugansk as quickly as possible. These two cities must fall. This is symbolic. And after that, not only the end of the war will be quickly understood, but the collapse of the political system in Russia will occur. Mikhailo Podolyak, advisor, head of the Office of the President of Ukraine, in an interview with Union.
The President of Ukraine has no doubts that Ukraine will return Crimea. He addressed the residents of Crimea in the occupied city of Izium.
My signal to the people in Crimea: we know that these are our people, and it is a terrible tragedy that they have been under occupation for more than 8 years. We will return there. I don't know when exactly, but we have plans and we will return there, because this is our land and our people. Volodymyr Zelensky, President of Ukraine.
Reported by Roman Smoler, Vlada Tsurkan, UATV News.
I just love their accent. But you've got a good English overview there, so you see some multiple points of interest, especially the pushing out of Russian forces, Putin saying, it's okay, we're going to back up, we're going to support our southern. The question I would have, and I'm not a military strategist, although I play one on the internet, I'm just playing, is this: how much more are you going to back up? This is why Podolyak, from the office of the president, said we need to get Lugansk and Donetsk quickly. I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but when I was in Khmelnytsky, Ukraine, I was meeting with one of the commanders there. And this guy actually works in Kyiv, and we were having chats and talks and talking about the war. And he made a very direct statement to Zhenya and myself. He said, and this would have been about 3 weeks ago. He said, we've got about 4 to 6 to 8 weeks to make our massive push, and you're going to see it. So he was telling us what was coming, and we're seeing it. Now, we're about halfway through that time period, because eventually Ukraine is limited on troops. They are rotating well. They're still having to keep troops up in the north, the south, and there in the east. But eventually, winter's coming, provisions, supplies, rotation, all the things that have to happen. But right now, the momentum is rolling. So they're going to push, of course, for Lugansk, the city, that is, and Donetsk, the city. If they could get those two to fall, this would be an unbelievable game changer. Those cities have been occupied since 2014, basically, when the LNR and the DNR took over. Of course, you heard what President Zelensky said about Crimea. It's our place, it's our people, and we're coming for you. Unbelievable things are happening right in front of our face. I love all the Elon comments. I actually tagged him tonight in the video. I'm tagging him every night. I'm going to tag Elon Musk until he talks to me because I'm inviting him to Ukraine with me. Now, I want to show you a couple of other things in regard to what's happening. Always fact check everything. Everything. And tonight, I'm going to give you a fact check from my personal experience. I want to roll this video clip first, about 30 seconds, and you're going to see the absolute panic and chaos in all of those propagandists, especially the lady. She is tore up right now, wondering why Russia is losing.
Андрей Витальевич, мы не военные, поэтому вот просто объясните, никоим образом не претензия, просто для понимания. Почему у нас метр за метр, а у них поселок за поселком? Почему у них сейчас получается лучше? С чем это связано и когда изменится ситуация?
Давайте учитывать тот факт, что мы воюем не с украинскими войсками, мы воюем с войсками НАТО. У них огромнейший ресурс, на данный момент превосходящий наш ресурс.
First of all, did you enjoy the panic? I could have shown you more of it, but it's not worth putting her on here too much. And then you see the answer. We're not fighting Ukrainian troops. We're fighting NATO troops, and their resources are much more than ours. That is a complete lie. Yes, weapons are coming, training is coming, but I'm going to tell you guys firsthand. I was in the shadows of Kherson. I was in cities that are now liberated. We were all over the Donetsk region. I mean, you guys know, tight. Please hear me. I never saw one foreigner. Not one. I never saw another American. I never saw a foreign fighter. Are they there? Yes. But I never saw them. I never saw NATO troops. I saw powerful, amazing Ukrainian troops who are fighting for their homeland. So please hear it from somebody who was there and who's going to be back there. It's not true. There's not any NATO troops that I personally saw in almost 5 weeks there. So we have to fact check it. And of course, what else are they going to say? My favorite part of her line was, I don't understand why we take meter by meter by meter, but they take village by village by village. Don't you just love that statement? Now, how does this happen? How does what happen? How does today the Duma officially, once and for all, accept the four regions, Lugansk, Donetsk, Zaporozhye, and Kherson? I'm going to show you that. Russian claims they take the annex, but Donetsk is only 56% occupied, Zaporozhye 71%, Kherson 82%, and Lugansk 99.7%, basically all of Lugansk. But they can just annex and steal this territory. This is what happened in the Duma, which is the governing body there, the shadow government in Russia. I'm going to show you their vote.
Решение принято единогласно.
And I'm going to, I can pause it for you. So now they're clapping their vote. Now I want to show you this. Let me back it up for you here. I'll read this for you. This is the collective vote for bringing the four regions into the Federation. Happened at 10:31 a.m. 153 votes were za, or meaning for, and then the second word below that is protiv, which means against. 0. Then no vote, and then abstaining, or no vote, 0, of course, and then the total vote. And then you see the number 90% beside it. Why is it 90 if it was unanimous? Because only 90% of the Duma was there
Решение
for the vote.
принято
Now look
единогласно.
here, you will also see right there, look at the bottom left. Who's sitting there? That would be Sergei Lavrov, the foreign minister. So the vote is in there. Their sham vote is official. How does this happen? Great question. It happens because people do not realize what is happening. Elon Musk. ZNPP cold shutdown. In case you did not know this, all 6 reactors are shut down. Why? Released this afternoon, every reactor, and I've shown you these reactors for months and months, are shut down into cold shutdown, which is the safest form of shutdown, meaning, and I was looking it up just so I'd have a little bit more clarity on it, but it's for the coolant temperatures, and the temperatures not above 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and if it actually turned off, there wouldn't be an immediate meltdown. That's called cold shutdown. You can read about it on the internet, but that's basically what it means. But what this really means is there's no power rolling out of those right now. Why? Because Russia has mined them to the hilt. Were they already mined? Yes. But now that is a disaster waiting to happen. And for sure, the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant could be one of the ways that Russia responds is. Now, talking about the nuclear threats, these cannot be ignored. But my friends, tonight, do not fall for the trap. Couple of things happening. There was many rumors going around. I'm showing you one headline there on the left. Putin orders nuclear military train to Ukraine Frontline. There's no proof of that. Zero. Could it be happening? Yes. But there is no proof. I'm going to always do my best. I'm reading the news in the language. I'm talking to Ukraine. I'm there. I'm going to do the best to tell you the truth. There's no proof that nuclear doomsday train is heading to Ukraine. Could it be? Yeah, but it's not. Now, there are, 5 nuclear caliber class vessels that have recently been reloaded in the Black Sea. What are they loaded with? Most likely cruise missiles. That's what they carry. What are on those cruise missiles? Nobody knows. So you do have that. We also have the fact that Rocket Boy in North Korea is shooting missiles over top of Japan sovereign territory to the level that air alarms went off and millions of people had to go underground. That's a problem happening. So the nuclear threats, even though we need to take it slow with them and recognize they can happen, they must not be ignored. So you have the rumors of the trains, the facts of the Black Sea, Rocket Boy doing his thing in Japan, the Iranian drones that basically can't be stopped, while Ukraine is taking back territory hand over fist. Then what happens? Ukraine comes out today and puts out a statement. Due to possible threats of a nuclear strike, Ukraine released an algorithm, is what they call it, of actions, how to escape from a dirty bomb, a nuclear attack, or an accident at a nuclear power plant. It's a document on the left released from Kyiv. I've translated it on the right for you. The Center for Strategic Communications under National Security and Defense Council recommends, if you see a flash in the sky, do not look in the direction. Lie down on the ground with your feet towards the explosion to escape the shock wave. Try to cover your ears with headphones and cover all bare areas of the body. Cover your mouth and nose with a mask. Follow the shelter after the blast wave has passed. So, yes, we're paying attention. Is it possible? Absolutely, it's possible. Is there a doomsday train on the border? I don't think so. It's not proven, but it's being taken serious to the level that Ukraine is putting out information on how to deal with it. Great statement comes out today from Lithuanian Defense Minister. His name is Arvydas Anušauskas. He says, let's be calm and steady. After Putin, now I'm reading him, waved some flags about nuclear weapons, misinformation about alleged nuclear weapon convoys started circulating in the Western media. This is not happening, but Nuclear temperature, in quotation marks, induced by the Kremlin is paying dividends of fear. Here he comes. Elon Musk was the first to fall for this. Arvidas is spot on. Spot on. This is the point I've tried to make for 223 days. Unless you understand Soviet culture, Slavic culture, Russian culture, Ukrainian culture, you cannot have a thought about how things unfold. You can have an opinion, of course, but if you're not going to do your due diligence and understand the culture, you're going to be way off most of the time. This culture is completely different than any other culture on this planet, especially those in the Kremlin there at Red Square. So Elon Musk was the first to fall for it. So Mr. Musk, I'm inviting you again to Ukraine. Elon Musk tries to back up today, but I'm going to put the hammer on him even more, because I checked with my Ukrainian buddies today and they're still very upset that he would even whisper the things that he whispered. And I'm going to show you something at the end. And Mr. Musk, I did tag you on Twitter. I hope you're watching. I mean, I respect you, but just watch. I'll educate you and I'll take you to Ukraine. Elon Musk, I still very much support Ukraine, but I'm convinced that massive escalation of this war will cause great harm to Ukraine and possibly the world. Now, Mr. Musk, I know you're brilliant, but that statement, not too bright. You're kidding. An escalation in the war will cause harm to Ukraine and the rest of the world? That's rocket science right there, big man. Elon Musk, SpaceX's, I'm getting ready to get you, sir, out-of-pocket cost to enable and support Starlink in Ukraine is $80 million so far. I used Starlink while I was there in Ukraine. It was fantastic, and I'm very appreciative of it. But he says our support for Russia is zero. Wrong, sir. You're buying products from Russia. Showed it last night. Secondly, you did not block Russian use of information via Starlink. You didn't send Starlink units to Russia. That's correct. But you did not block the information going through Starlink to Russia. You guys can look it up on Google. So that statement, I'm not too hip on. Obviously, we are pro-Ukraine. No, I don't think so. Trying to retake Crimea will cause massive death. Now you know why President Zelensky, that I showed you at the beginning of this video, came out and said, we're coming for Crimea. Mr. Musk, probably this will fail and risk nuclear war. This would be terrible for Ukraine and Earth. Really? You just catching up with that? 80 million bucks Starlink has donated to Ukraine. Thank you. But let me put that in perspective for you. $80 million is 0.0629% of Starlink's net worth as of this morning. $80 million is 0.0097% of Tesla's value as of this morning. And personally, $80 million is 0.0323% of your personal net worth. That is like pocket change, Mr. Musk. Come on. We need a little better work out of you. Fear is the problem. Fear has two meanings. Number one, forget everything and run. Elon Musk. Number two, face everything and rise. Ukraina. The choice is yours. The choice is ours. We're going to support Ukraine. What happens next? Ukraine officially closes all negotiations. This is a direct statement. I have it boxed for you there with the yellow arrow, but this is a direct statement from the president's office. No more negotiations. Zero. Have talks been going on? Not really. But now there is no opportunity. Finally, tonight, the thing that I hope Mr. Musk is going to watch. This, my friends, is a very famous picture. 80 million, still 80 million, not bad. I don't disagree with you. I did tell him thank you. It is good, but doesn't give you the right to direct Ukrainian politics and to overlook genocide. That's the point. Take a look at this guy right here, Mikhail Dionov. If you guys are new to the channel, you can go back to the homepage of the YouTube channel, and I have a pinned video there with a tribute to the Azovstal defenders from earlier in the war. You will see Mikhail there. How he overcame. This is what I want to close with tonight, and this is why Ukraine is going to win this war. Not only are they fighting for their homeland, but they're also fighting truly for the world, for democracy, for freedom, and for future generations, not only in Ukraine, but globally. Mr. Musk, if you're watching, that's Mikhail Dionov. So you're going to tell me that we're just going to let people vote because that's their will. On the left, and if that picture is a little tough for you, just close your eyes. On the left was his early war day pictures, even before they were captured at the Azovstal. This picture, of course, was when they were under siege and he had been injured. After that, of course, they surrendered. They were taken into captivity. He now is not in Turkey. They took the commanders to Turkey. Mr. Dionov is actually